throat went dry. The first vinyl album I ever bought was Dark Side of the Moon.
Then come inside and see what we've got. Bet we have albums you need. I'll even slide you a first-time customer discount.
He stood and stretched.
You from around here?
I shook my head. A couple hours away.
What brings you to town?
I had an answer prepared for that question. I planned to go on the ghost tour tonight.
Mary Ann's tour? You'll like her. She knows all the local lore, and what she doesn't know, she makes up.
He winked.
Coming in? I'll introduce you to Daniel.
I rose, but I made no move to follow him toward the store. I'd faced demons, ghosts, vampires, sorcerers, witches, poltergeists, angry werewolves, blood mages, panther shifters, an angel, a demon lord, and Vlad the Impaler. But the prospect of being introduced to Daniel Holliday made me want to run. Running was not an option, however, because someone else might be coming after Daniel. My grandfather, crime lord Moses Murphy. For some reason, he wanted Daniel dead for knocking up my mom with a half-mage, half-shifter baby. Why that would make Moses want to kill Daniel, I wasn't sure. I'd recently unearthed a forgotten memory from my childhood that indicated Moses would have killed all three of us back then if he'd known my real father wasn't John Briggs, the man who'd raised me as his own daughter. Both my mom and my dad were long dead, murdered by Moses when I was 8. Now Moses knew I was part shifter, and he might be hunting for the man who'd fathered me. Luckily, ace hacker Cyro had found Daniel first. I had a chance to warn him that Moses or his goons might be headed this way. As far as I knew, Daniel had no idea I existed, and I had absolutely no clue how to break the news. Since the day I learned about him, I'd rehearsed it 100 times, saying it 100 different ways, but none of them seemed right. My alpha werewolf partner, Sean Maclin, had kissed me goodbye this morning and assured me the right words would come to me when it was time. As I stared through the front windows at my probable biological father, however, my brain was a total blank.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Alice, show some fortitude.
Malcolm crossed his arms and glared at me from where he floated a few feet to my right.
You heard Detroit Rock City over there. Daniel doesn't bite, and he's got a sense of humor, and he likes Pink Floyd. What else do you want?
A less judgmental ghost sidekick? I muttered. Detroit turned around.
What was that?
Nothing. I ignored Malcolm's exaggerated eye roll and took a deep breath. Sure, I'd love to check out your store.
Awesome!
Detroit headed for the front door of Blue Moon Records, whistling.
Oh, hey, what's your name?
Alice, I told him. Alice Worth. He opened the door and held it for me. The familiar sound of Aerosmith drifted through the doorway. I smiled. Was it possible to inherit a love of classic rock through genetics? I certainly hadn't gotten that from my parents, and I sure as hell didn't get it from Moses. Detroit made a gallant, sweeping gesture.
After you, Alice.
Thanks, Detroit. I let Steven Tyler's vocals carry me inside. The moment we walked in, Daniel sent Detroit to the post office to ship some online orders. As nice as the shop assistant was, I was relieved not to have to make conversation. Daniel was still talking with his customers, who were regulars, judging by the way they chatted. I busied myself bin diving in the classic rock section of the shop's used records inventory and listened to their discussion about the highlights of Black Sabbath's lesser-known tracks. Unsurprisingly, Daniel was highly knowledgeable on the topic. Though he didn't laugh or smile and seemed generally very solemn, he was friendly. We were the only customers in the shop at the moment, not entirely unexpected for a weekday morning. I hadn't necessarily planned to buy anything, but darned if they didn't have several albums.